Women hold the portal into the physical world. That's what the Egyptian Ankh is. It's the portal. The Egyptian male wore the headdress to symbolize the woman because they are the master builders that create the human temple. The human body is created by the 12 zodiacal astral forces. That's why your body's made out of 12 cell salts for the 12 zodiac signs. She harnesses the energy of the 12 constellations and the 7 planets to manifest your body. She is a womb man, and she is feminine, which is 9. And he is masculine, which is line, which is 1. 0 and 1, the binary code of all creation. This is why there are 10 numbers. She is curvy and he is liney. Feminine quality of consciousness is being hidden and suppressed. They want you stuck in thought and action, and no feminine emotion, because emotion is where we gain empathy and care for one another. They have suppressed the feminine quality of consciousness, emotion, empathy, and true care. This is why everyone is so divided. Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit was to cover up emotion. It's all just male dominated. Even the Jesus cross is lines and no curves, pure masculine. What is the symbolic meaning of Jesus being the sun? In the occult traditions, truth is never handed to you using ordinary language. It is concealed behind layers of symbolism. By veiling the truth behind symbols, it forces the initiate to turn inward, to reflect, to question, and to decode. This inner process awakens consciousness and promotes inner realizations. So what does the sun represent inside yourself? The sun rises every single morning, waking everyone up in the world. This is symbolic of self-realization and becoming conscious that you possess consciousness. The sun is the life force for all living beings on the earth. The sun gives all of its life and all of its energy and expects nothing in return. This is symbolic of true care and unconditional love. The sun represents love and care. All things are created through this generative force. This is symbolic of holding love in our mind and love in our hearts. This is the true Christ consciousness, love consciousness, because we are all one consciousness separated in individual bodies, and love is the unifying force that brings us all together. This is a surface level explanation, but in summary, Jesus as the sun represents self-awakening. It represents going within and awakening to your true spiritual nature as pure consciousness, not the body. It represents living in love consciousness, a mind and heart and life that is rooted in love and care for one another and the self. Jesus Christ is not a figure to be worshipped, but something to construct within our own mind and hearts. If you care about discovering your true power, join my private community, Ethereal University. Satan does not exist. It is a force of consciousness. The devil has veil within it. We live in a mental universe. Everything exists in the mind. God represents awakening the mind, expanding the mind, creating with the mind, caring and loving for one another, growing the mind, freedom of the mind, and spirit. The devil is the complete opposite. Well, Satan represents the forces that conceal people's minds, restrict people's minds, destructive thoughts, emotionless, decay, limiting the mind and material reality. The devil is just a force of someone else placing veils or obstructions in your mind to keep you limited so they can use you for their advantage. Satanic people do not worship the devil. They worship themselves, and they have no care for anyone else or the collective consciousness. A satanic person uses occult and psychological knowledge against you to use you to create their reality. It's all about serving the self and not caring for the collective. This symbol does not represent the devil. Upwards pentagram represents spiritual principles over earthly principles. Inverted pentagram represents material principles over spiritual, ignoring spiritual principles of connection with others and the divine, and only serving your physical body and egotistical needs. Satanism gives the illusion that it's going against Christianity, so they're always one step ahead. They're actually manipulating you and serving themselves. If you care about gaining your consciousness' full potential and learning more about consciousness, join my private community, Ethereal University. You don't need coffee, you need charging. Coffee gives you fake energy. Energy you gain off coffee is a toxic chemical reaction in your brain, which fries your dopamine receptors. Your body is a bioelectric piece of technology. Number one thing your body needs is electricity and bioelectric energy. You gain electrical energy from the sun, magnetic energy from the earth, and electromagnetic energy from fruits. Fruits crystallize the sunlight, giving your body bioelectric energy. Your heart is not a pump. It's an energy vortex generator, which turns the water in your blood to plasma, feeding your body with bioelectrical energy. Cardiovascular system, the tree of life in the Garden of Eden. Your nervous system, the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Heart gives you life, the brain gives you knowledge. When you place hot water into these cups, they release thousands of microplastics into your water, because inside they're laced with plastic. Your head has this spiral, which is the Fibonacci sequence, which comes from the rotating fields of magnetism. If you look down on this electromagnetic field, you would see the lotus of life. Everything in nature contains this spiral, because everything comes from these electromagnetic atoms. That's why you have an anatomy, because you are a giant atom. Fibonacci is the only symbol that can go for infinity. Connects the macro with the micro. The macro is the earth atom. Micro is you. You are just a smaller version of the universe. That's why your head has this spiral, revealing you are a microcosm of the macrocosm. Think again if you think Jesus is real and the earth is round. They are trapping your soul in the earth. Every ancient culture has this seven-headed serpent. The serpent represents transformation because snakes shed their skin, symbolizing growth, renewal, and evolution. You are not just physical, you have 7 energy systems in your body. Are the 7 snakes. This was not actually a real 7-headed creature. This was the worldwide religion. I don't like saying religion, it wasn't a religion. It was the wisdom for spiritual transmutation, of transforming the 7 energy systems in the body, turning you from a material being into a spiritual being. It's all about ascending this physical, mortal body. Close your eyes, there is a being inside of you, a voice that no one else can hear but you. That is the spirit they wanted to ascend out of this body, because you are still in the womb. Body is a womb for your consciousness, and you can be born out of it into a new reality. Unless you are born again, you cannot see the kingdom of God, John 3:3. What if I told you Lucifer runs this whole matrix, and Lucifer is not what you think it is? Lucifer is not some red demon with horns. Lucifer is a type of energy, the kind of energy that seduces you with light. That's why the word Lucifer means light bearer. Lucy means light, fer means to bring. It's the kind of energy that appears beautiful, that feels like it's helping you, and looks like a blessing, but behind the mask is something else, something hidden and dark. Take a celebrity, for example. They embody brilliance, talent, charisma, beauty. They look divine, but through the music and their films, you're being subconsciously programmed. You're being manipulated and pulled into mental slavery. That's Luciferianism. It's not the obvious evil. It's dressed in silk. It's destruction that feels good or looks good. Even your eyesight can be Luciferic. Look at your eyes. The sigil of Lucifer is how the brain sees and how the eyes work in reality. Light enters the eyes and an image is produced in the visual cortex. The physical world is dripping with temptation, money, looks, fame, lust, comfort. It lures you in, feeds your ego, and makes you forget who you are. And by the time you realize it, you've traded your soul for a lie. That's how the light bearer works, not by force, but by seduction. Lucifer is the evil dressed in good. It's a type of energy that seduces you into losing and corrupting yourself. Have you ever wondered what that high-pitched noise is in your ear when you are silent? Well, it turns out you can use that high-pitched noise to do something very mystical with yourself. Your brain is not one system. It consists of 2 hemispheres, a feminine right brain, Isis, a masculine left brain, Ra. The brain does not produce consciousness. Consciousness is downloaded into the brain. The brain is a computer that simulates this physical reality. The noise you hear in your ears can be used to align the brain hemispheres, which will unlock higher states of consciousness, maybe even out-of-body experiences. In order to unlock your consciousness, the electrical system of your brains need to be working together and not fighting each other. And that's what that noise is in your ear. The noise in your ear is the noise of the electricity in your brain. By closing your eyes and listening to that noise, you can actually sync the brain hemispheres. Or you can do it in an artificial way. And when the 2 electrical systems become one, you unlock consciousness, which is the Holy Land of Israel. Isis, Ra, and El. The Holy Land in the Bible is not a real place, but a place in your consciousness where you can go to and rise above the thoughts. where it's eternal peace, no thoughts. Simply just meditate and focus all your attention on that high-pitched voice in your ears. If you do this long enough, you will have a very mystical experience. Israel is not the Holy Land. The Holy Land is in you. Isis, Ra, El. Isis, the feminine right brain. Ra, the masculine left brain. The Holy Land is when the left brain and the right brain join together, unlocking the Holy Land, consciousness, El. The word El means God. You enter the Holy Land by turning off your senses, your thoughts and emotions. When they're all turned off, you experience pure awareness, pure peace without the chaos of the mind and the body. And when you meditate, you will naturally align your brain hemispheres. The Holy Land is a place inside your consciousness that you can go to escape the chaos of the mind, the body and the emotions. Going to Israel, Jerusalem is not going to do anything. The Bible is symbolic. Jesus was not God. Religion is demon worship. If you follow a religion, you need to listen. Physical world is shaped by the mental world. This object was a thought in the mind before it was physical. All creation begins as a thought, then imagination, then energy, then physical reality. Thoughts shape the astral plane, same dimension you use when you imagine something and when you go to sleep. This is where spirits are. You have a personal mind and a collective mind of the whole world combined. And we all agree on a certain thought. This manifests as an energy in the imaginative plane. It will literally create a demonic consciousness because the collective consciousness is vibrating very low and we think negative thoughts. If you believe in Christianity, the collective thoughts of Jesus and the negative emotional energy we give him when we pray manifests as a whole collective being in the astral plane. You are worshipping a false god, deity created by the collective consciousness. True God is your soul, because your soul is connected to the source consciousness of the universe. The correct way to worship God is by aligning your mind and heart with higher consciousness and higher principles, and purifying yourself. Israel is not the Holy Land. The Holy Land is in you. Israel, Isis, Ra, and El. Isis, the feminine right brain. Ra, the masculine left brain. You enter the Holy Land by aligning your brain hemispheres, unlocking consciousness, El. Simply do this just by meditating. You enter the Holy Land by turning off your senses, your thoughts and emotions, and you bathe in the awareness of pure consciousness, escaping the activity of the mind, emotions and senses. The Holy Land is not a real place, but a symbolic place inside your own consciousness that you can enter and escape everything. The next time you feel overwhelmed and thinking too much, just simply meditate, turn off everything, and you will bathe in the Holy Land inside your consciousness. We've all seen the viral videos of me decoding the Bible. I've just found something in the Gospel of John that is going to blow your mind. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. This word is not the vibrational frequency of word. This teaching stems back to the Hermetic philosophy. All is mind. Everything is a mental creation of the all. Every physical object in this physical plane began as a thought in the mind. The word is not vibration, but the inner mental dialogue inside of us. If you close your eyes, before you kick a football, there is a decision, an energetic shift inside of the mind or inside yourself. This command is the true you, the universal consciousness. The word that created all creation is the mind of God. All creation is an emanation of the mind. You possess a small mind, a small version of God's mind. It's not a coincidence this was on John 1:1. 1:1 represents the two pillars of Masonry, the inner world and the outer world. The inner world of consciousness reflects outward in the outer world of matter. They are mirrors of each other. 11 is the number of creation. Jesus is not going to save you. Allah is not going to save you. Buddha is not going to save you. No one is coming to save you. You have to save yourself from the emotional chaos, from the mental chaos, negative thoughts, the internal trauma that you are experiencing is what you need to save yourself from. The universe only exists in this skull of yours, in this mind. The real savior is when you save yourself from the internal hell that you may live in, from seeking low-level pleasures, external validation. This is destroying your soul, and no wonder you feel so lost. You have to look within yourself and control the mind. And when you can control the mind, you will control your whole reality. You have to save yourself. Believing in a man in the sky will take you nowhere in life. Have an amazing day. As above, so below. 7 planets give you the 7 chakras, the 7 metals, the 7 days of the week. Sunday for the sun, Saturday for Saturn. The 12 zodiac give you the 12 cranial nerves, the 12 systems in your body, and the 12 cell salts. The universe is fractal, everything mirrors itself. 0 and 1 is the binary code, which is in the male and female. 5 fingers for the 5 elements, 5 points on your body for the 5 elements. They demonize the middle finger because it's the element they hid, ether. Invisible field that all energy comes from and returns to. It connects everything together to Geetha. As above, so below corresponds with everything. This means you are God in a small form. You are made in the image of the stars. Jesus will never save you, Allah will never save you, Buddha will never save you. No one is coming to save you. You have to save yourself. The universe only exists in this mind of yours. You have to save yourself from the emotional and mental chaos that you are suffering from, the internal hell that you suffer from. Why let your mind take away your power? Why let your mind, the only thing that you can actually control, be an enemy of yours? You have to make the mind your friend so it gives you power. Don't just experience life. Let life experience you. You have to become the conscious creator, the God within you. You are the creator. No one's coming to save you. You have to save yourself. You're losing in life because your phone is a tool of mind control, designed to hijack your attention and redirect the force of your consciousness into nothingness. If you want to win in life, you must understand how your consciousness functions. Consciousness is the most potent force in the universe, and you have direct access to this. They condition your consciousness with fear so that you project a chaotic reality. They fragment your mind so you never gain power. To gain power, you must master your inner world, gaining control over your thoughts and silencing the inner conflict. You know when you want to do something, but you have that inner voice that tells you you can't do it? That is a fragmented consciousness. To gain your power, every negative thought you have, think 5 positive more. Meditate 3 times a day. Practice turning off thoughts. This will give you the power to turn on and off your mind and redirect the force of consciousness. If you can focus your mind on one goal and you think about that goal, it will crystallize into your external world through action, your energy, and you will create this reality. They're controlling you to hide the power of consciousness within you. Writing is a rite, which is a ritual, because writing words conditions your subconscious mind. Your signature is sign your nature. Your signature is your sigil. Think of me, revival of wisdom. You have an idea in your mind. That idea is an energy, a thought form, and this signature represents that thought form energy. In magic, you use symbols to impress your subconscious mind with different thought forms to create that reality. Breath has eth, which is ether. You don't just breathe air, you breathe in ether, which is life force, consciousness. Yahweh is the inhale then exhale of breath. Just listen closely to your breath, you'll hear it. Death has the word eth, ether in it, because all energy, all life comes out of the ether and returns back to it. Life is an infinite cycle of energy. Life rearranged is file, being recorded by the eyes and stored within the subconscious mind. Sacred rearranged is scared, because they made you scared of all of the sacred symbols, so that you don't do your research. Words hold secret esoteric meanings. You'll never understand what I'm saying unless you study them. Why is it the ancients were so obsessed with these mythical creatures? A man, an eagle, a bull, and a lion. We even see this in ancient Christianity. The bull is Taurus. Leo is the lion. The man is Aquarius, and the eagle is an old symbol for Scorpio. These are the 4 fixed signs of the zodiac. These 4 signs represent the middle of each season. Each one of these signs corresponds with an element. In the esoteric world, they teach you that you have 4 bodies and not 1. And your 4 dimensions correspond with the 4 elements, which also correspond with the zodiac signs. Aquarius is an air sign, which represents the mind. Taurus is an earth sign, which represents the physical body. Leo is a fire sign, which is the spiritual body. Scorpio is a water sign, which is the emotional body. These mythical creatures never actually existed. They're showing you the 4 dimensions of your soul. Aquarius the mind, Scorpio the emotions, Taurus the physical body, and Leo the lion, the spirit. These depictions are showing you the 4 different bodies of your soul. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Leo, Taurus, Aquarius, Scorpio. The spirit, the body, the mind, and emotion. Each gospel shows Jesus according to the different body of consciousness. All of this symbolism in the Sumerians and the Bible is talking about you. Demon is a D-mon. Mon is moon, meaning emotion. D means negative. Demon is a negative emotion that possesses your mind, body, and spirit. Every thought you think becomes an emotion. Motion is energy in motion. You create your own demons by directing thoughts into a specific emotional form. Demons are just negative aspects of your own psyche, little voices you've created in your subconscious that control you. Thoughts turn into imagination. Imagination is the body of thought. Imagination is a dimension called the astral plane. Your negative thought forms have created demons in the astral plane. Every addiction you have is a demon, an astral entity you've created and given life to by your thought and emotional energy. This is why we all have our own personal demons. They are not some external force, they are aspects of your psyche. They are trapping your soul in the earth. You do not experience the external world. What you feel is electrical impulses on your nervous system. What you visually see is light entering the eyes and the image produced at the back of the brain. You're experiencing a simulation produced by your brain and central nervous system, which means that the body is the earth. You are God. Generator, operator, destroyer, the mind, soul, and body. The mind's the projector, the soul's the observer, and the body is the dimension. This body is allowing your soul to operate in this physical dimension. It's a vehicle. They programmed your mind to believe that you are only a physical being to trap your mind and soul in this physical world, in this physical body. But you are way more than just this physical body. The only way to escape is through astral projection. The matrix is not physical, it's a limiting belief system that lowers our state of consciousness. Programmed our minds to be attached to the physical world through money, clothes, and fame. To keep our minds locked in the external reality, you must go within to expand your consciousness to astral project, to activate your light body just like the ancients were depicting. You can literally become a god and travel these other dimensions other than this physical world. That's why these Sumerian gods depicted themselves with 2 faces. Have you ever wondered why the word ship is at the end of everything? There's a hidden spell behind every word. Your body is 60% water, and you were born through your mother's waters. When a ship pulls up to its bay, it's called the birth canal. The ship gives birth to the products on the ship. When the ship arrives, it gets a certificate of manifest certifying all the products on the ship. When you arrive in your mother's water, you get a certificate of manifest, which is your birth certificate, because you are a product to the system. On that birth certificate, there's a date. And that date is the Gregorian calendar, which is a copyrighted timeline created by Pope Gregory. Therefore, on paper, your name is a corporation and it's signed to a copyrighted timeline. When you get a letter and your name is in full capital letters, that's your corporation, not you. You can't tax a physical body, but you can tax a corporation. You are the I am, and your consciousness is identifying itself with the corporation, which is attached to the system. The word calendar comes from calends, which is the first day of the month the Romans had to pay their tax. God's calendar is a 28-day moon cycle. They made an artificial calendar to control you. Bank is a river bank, and money is water. That's why money in the bank is called a currency, because the banks direct the flow of the current. And that's why we call it liquidity. The English language is a giant spell to keep you attached to the system. Identifying yourself with the body and the name is keeping us attached to this system. People are always asking me, what happens when you die? I'm going to explain this for you in the most detailed way possible. When you die, you do not leave your body. Your body is producing a simulation that your consciousness is experiencing. So when this body dies, the simulation is no longer being ran, and you are left with your internal spiritual world. You have an external physical body and an internal world of thought and emotion. The internal, what you do not see, is eternal. The universe is mental. Everything exists within the mind. Every physical object you see around you was a thought manifested into reality. When you're stripped of your physical reality, you're left with the plane of imagination. Thoughts are just thoughts, but the bodies of thoughts is imagination. For example, thoughts are just the thought of a chair, but then once you imagine the chair, that imagination is the body of the thought of the chair. This imagination screen you have in your mind is a dimension called the astral plane or the spirit realm. Depending if you have a mind filled with negative thoughts or positive thoughts will depend what astral plane you will go to. Whatever you think is what you will manifest as your astral body. If you have negative thoughts, you will manifest as a low vibrational entity within the astral plane. To go even deeper, you can ascend out of the astral plane above the mental plane into the soul plane. However, I'm not going to talk about that in this video. You need to prepare for life after death because you cannot fulfill your physical desires in the spiritual astral plane. Therefore, you need to cast off any bondage and addiction you have in your physical world so that you can actually function and not suffer from not fulfilling your desires in the astral plane. So to put this in simple words, this is your external body, and when you close your eyes, you have an internal body. That internal body never dies. Why is it Taylor Swift has so much snake symbolism inside of her videos? We see this in Egypt. Snakes shed their skin. They represent transformation. Kundalini is a snake because it transforms sexual energy to the brain. The snake transforms Adam and Eve's consciousness to know good and evil. The pharaoh wears a snake on the head to represent transformation of the mind because the head is where the mind is. This is called mental alchemy, transforming a chaotic mind to a powerful mind, transforming your belief system of doubt, lack and fear, which obstructs the creative power of the mind, to a belief system aligned with truth, possibility and higher purpose, which transmutes the mind to a powerful tool to create something. The snake represents self-transformation. This was the ancient wisdom before religions. We are all part of an infinite consciousness expressed in different life forms. We are all God. To know and understand God, we have to transform our consciousness to align with the God consciousness. You do this by mastering your mind and becoming a conscious creator, and transforming your mind and your lower animal urges. Why is it the Egyptians had so much rabbit symbolism? We even see a rabbit figure on the moon. The moon represents our subconscious mind. The sun represents our conscious awareness. The subconscious tells your heart to beat, your lungs to breathe, and controls every system in your body without you being aware. The subconscious knows everything about you and the universe. The ancient Mayans depicted the rabbit inside the moon. Rabbits are always symbolized with the moon. Rabbits dig holes into the unknown, the darkness. They are most active during the periods of sunrise and sunset, transition between darkness and light. The ancients depicted rabbits because it's symbolic of spiritually awakened people who enter their subconscious mind and explore deeper layers of their consciousness. Just like rabbits enter the void, you can enter the void, which is your subconscious mind. You do this by putting yourself in a trance. Wear a pair of headphones and place one frequency in this ear and a different frequency in the other ear. Place all of your attention on one sound of that frequency. If you do this long enough, you'll be in a sleepy trance. You know when you're just about to fall asleep and you're half in, half out? You're dwelling between the conscious and the subconscious mind. And if you can stay in this midpoint, this is the state where you can gain mystical experiences and unlock deeper layers of your consciousness, out-of-body experiences and lucid dreams. The rabbit represents the explorer of consciousness. You can use the moon to your advantage. A full moon is very powerful. The moon is your subconscious mind, and your subconscious creates reality. For example, you don't post on social media to share with friends. Your actions of posting are coming from a subconscious force of seeking validation. Your actions come from hidden motives in your subconscious. So now imagine you reprogrammed your mind to seek success and growth. Imagine how powerful your forces of actions will become. Your action will be derived for growth and success. And that's the power of reprogramming your mind. On a full moon, your subconscious mind is wide open. The ancients used to fast on a full moon because doing anything addictive on this day can easily become a habit. Use the full moon to do affirmations and feel your desired reality as if it already exists. This is the best time to change your mind and to reconstruct your reality. In order to escape reincarnation, the Egyptians are telling us through symbolism. This was not meant to be taken literally, nor was this a real person. It's all symbolism. Today, we use symbols such as letters to create words. These symbols we use are to represent sound vibrations we make with our mouth. However, the ancients were the opposite. They used different symbols to represent different thought forms, different levels of consciousness, and various aspects of life. life. Here we see Anubis. Anubis is the ancient Egyptian god of the dead. Now, he was not a real god, but he represents death, an aspect of life that we will go through. Anubis depicted with these scales. On the left, we have a heart. On the right, we have a feather. And these scales are equal. They are balanced. This is an instruction for when we die, because consciousness is for eternal. Because consciousness is eternal. Our physical body is mortal. So the instructions are telling us to make our heart to be as light as a feather. Our heart represents our consciousness, our soul. Most people die with a very heavy consciousness. Their mind, their emotions are still attached to worldly things. They still desire money, fame while they die. And when we die in this state, our consciousness is very heavy, still having many attachments to our heart, which is the reason why many people reincarnate. Because in order to pass on to the afterlife, to the astral plane, and to ascend to higher realms of the astral, you have to give up the worldly pleasures of the physical material world. Because in that plane, you cannot fulfill your physical desires, and you will suffer if you cannot fulfill them. And you'll end up reincarnating back to the physical plane. So in order to ascend, your consciousness needs to be as light as a feather. Just like the emerald tablets of Thoth tell you, each soul is weighed as to its light. If found heavy, it must return to the lessons of the earth. If found light, it passes into freedom. The freedom is the astral plane, where you can think and manifest anything at the click of a finger. Whatever you think, you manifest. It's the plane of imagination, that screen in your mind. Your imagination is your biggest tool for when you die. Third eye is not your pineal gland. It is not this gland inside of the human brain. People think that when they become awakened to their consciousness and they become self-aware, that their third eye is now activated. This is completely false. In order to activate your third eye, you simply have to do this one thing, which many people cannot do because we've been programmed not to. It is called visualization, imagination. Your imagination is a screen in your mind. It is the access to the astral plane. And this is what we call in the occult and secret societies call imagination, spirit vision. It is the ability to see beyond the physical world, see into the spiritual world, which is simply the astral plane, your imagination. If you cannot use your imagination, you cannot vividly see something in your mind's eye, then your third eye is not active. Third eye is your spiritual vision into the astral plane. To activate the third eye, you simply have to gain a strong willpower and direct the force of the mind to focus the light of your consciousness into an astral form. Visualization is your biggest power when you die. And in fact, when you dream, you're using your imagination subconsciously. So we always see this to reconstruct our mind, our temple, and climb the ladder of higher awareness and higher consciousness. We actively have to seek into our inner world through meditations, trances, hypnosis, in order to unlock higher awareness of your consciousness and the forces within you. Most people live down here in divided chaos, you versus me, unconsciousness. People don't realize they have consciousness. They take it for granted. They identify themselves with the illusion of the material world. This is the illusion, the black and white checkerboard. We have to rise from this illusion towards the light, higher awareness of self. I want you to ask yourself something. How does this embryo grow a nervous system? How does it know what to do? What's the intelligence behind it? Well, my friend, this is the same intelligence that's telling your heart to beat right this second, that's telling your stomach to digest food without you being conscious of it. This is what we call the subconscious. Our subconscious mind is connected to an infinite intelligence. It's amazing how God works. Did you know the 7 deadly sins are 7 blocked chakras? And a sin is not an action. You have an etheric energy body. The emotions are energy in motion. If you feel any of these emotions, you waste the etheric life force that's feeding your body. These emotions can quite literally aid you because your body's being fed by this life force. Sin is not an action, but a force that you cultivate within yourself that disrupts the life force within you. Now, I'm not saying that you go out and work on these chakras. These chakras are a result of your own mind. If you gain mastery over your mind, your emotions will fall in place. Work on removing these things from your mind. Thoughts create emotions, and emotions create actions. One last thing, the church is scamming you. Sin is not an action. The devil is not a real character. These things are all inside of you. Allegories and myths to represent aspects of your psyche. Symbolism Masterclass is now available, but it's closing soon. Lucifer is Venus. Lucifer in the Bible is the son of the morning, or the morning star. Just before the sunrise every morning, Venus shows up. Venus is the morning star. The 7 planets are 7 spiritual forces that create the physical universe. Saturn rules the roots. The sun rules the stem. Jupiter rules the fruit. Mercury's the messenger, the intelligence behind the tree. The moon governs the leaves. And Venus governs the beauty, the looks, and the smell of the tree. That's why the sigil of Lucifer is the visual field, because Lucifer or Venus governs the visual aspect of reality. That's why he's known as the lightbearer or the false light. Because this world is the false reality, the false light. And the false light can trick you into materialism, pulling you away from your true spiritual form. Lucifer is a metaphor about your consciousness falling for the material plane. The physical world is a veil which can turn you evil, because you are not from here. The matrix is keeping you in love with the material plane, which leaves you feeling soulless and empty inside. Religions were made to hide the truth about yourself. Every religion has a sacred river. For the Egyptians, it's the river Nile. For the Christians, it's the Jordan River. This river is the human spinal cord. The brain produces cerebrospinal fluid through the pineal and the pituitary gland. When the moon enters your sun sign, the cerebrospinal fluid falls down the spine every month to regulate the systems of the body. Jesus was in Nazareth with Joseph and Mary. Joseph the pineal, Mary the pituitary. Jesus then travels down the Jordan River, your spine, and goes to Bethlehem, your sacrum bone. Joseph and Mary are waiting for Jesus' return, which is the brain waiting for the oil to return back up the spine. And when Jesus returns back up the Jordan River, the spine, to Joseph and Mary, he's crucified in Golgotha, which translates to a place in the skull, at the age 33, because there are 33 vertebrae on the back of your spine. So this process of Jesus is symbolic of raising the cerebrospinal fluid back to your brain. This process activates dormant parts of the brain that were never activated before, making the brain process information quicker and working more efficiently. The whole Bible is a spiritually encoded text on how to reach the higher human potential. The Symbolism Masterclass opens tomorrow. There are limited spaces. If you look at the Matrix, Neo's plugged in on the back of his neck, right into the reptilian brain. This part of the brain doesn't think, just reacts. It's all about survival, running on pure instinct, just like everyone trapped in the Matrix. When Neo is unplugged, he's freed from the reptilian brain. His name Neo represents the neocortex, the part of the brain that allows critical thinking, learning, and expansion. That's the real way of escaping the Matrix, overcoming fear, breaking free from the programming, and activating the higher consciousness. Neo worked at a place called metacortex for a reason. This is all about transcending the lower mind and mastering the self to the higher parts of the brain and human potential. Why is it the ancients were so obsessed with these mythical creatures? A man, an eagle, a bull, and a lion. This is the ancient Sumerians. A man, an eagle, a bull, and a lion. Even ancient Christians are seen with the same symbolism. We even see this on the tarot card as well. The lion is Leo, the man is Aquarius, the eagle an old symbol for Scorpio, and the bull is Taurus. In esoteric teachings, they teach you that you have 4 bodies, not one. You have a physical body, an emotional body, a spiritual body, and a mental body. Taurus is an earth sign, which is the physical body. Leo is a fire sign, which is the spirit. Scorpio is a water sign, which is the emotion. Aquarius is an air sign, which is the mind. These ancient creatures were not real, they're symbolic, and they're showing you the 4 bodies of the soul. Our soul is incarnated into these 4 separate bodies. Hence why Jesus has the 4 Gospels. This mythical creature is not a mythical creature, but a symbol of your soul. The mental body, the emotional body, the physical body, and the spiritual body. The bull, the ox, the man, and the lion. all in one creature, which is the soul incarnated into the four bodies. This is why the earth symbol is a cross and with the four sections and a circle. I think this is going to change how we see ancient civilizations. They knew the sacred science of the soul. Jesus never died on a cross. It's a symbolic story. Jesus took 5 wounds on the cross and then he ascended to heaven. The 5 wounds represent the 5 senses. These are the 5 ways the soul interacts with matter. In order to reach your higher consciousness, you have to sacrifice the desire of the 5 senses, detaching from the material world, so that we can ascend to our higher consciousness. To prove this, the Bible says the flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of God in Corinthians. The body cannot enter heaven, which means your emotion, your mind, and spirit can, which proves heaven is a state of consciousness now. This is why Jesus says, take no thought 5 times in Matthew. Take no thought is meditation. 5 to turn off the 5 senses so that we can connect with the higher consciousness. The word Bible stands for basic instructions before leaving Earth. The whole Bible is an allegorical, spiritual ascension toolbook. This book will help you understand this. Freemasons call themselves traveling men. They move from the west to the east. West, where the sun dies. East, where the sun rises. Symbolic of rising from darkness to light, from death to rebirth, from survival to creation. We've been programmed to stay in survival mode, money, bills, stress, and daily grind. But the true power of the mind isn't just to survive, it's to create. Why do you think the most powerful people, builders of empires, industries, are Freemasons? Because they understand self-mastery. They don't just build structures, they build powerful minds. In Freemasonic paintings, you'll see the images and symbols of tools. These tools are not for construction, but for the transformation of the inner self. They represent the mastering of thought, emotion, and consciousness, building a strong mind, because a chaotic mind cannot create. West to east, left brain to the right brain, logic to creativity. It's all symbolic. Master your mind and you master your reality. Your soul is trapped in the physical dimension if you can't imagine. Imagination is not physical. You can't touch it. It's not made of atoms. It exists in a higher dimension of consciousness. Everything starts in the imagination before it becomes a physical reality. For example, Diddy's house. The design was in someone's vision, mental screen before it was a physical reality. People think that their third eye is open because they feel energy and now they're awake. That's not it. The third eye is your inner screen. If you can't vividly picture a red apple in your mind, you're cut off from the 4th dimension. Activating the third eye means unlocking what Freemasons call the spirit vision. Freemasons know this. They call it the astral plane. Don't you think it's crazy how if you use your imagination nowadays, people say, oh, you're just using your imagination, and they call you crazy? Everything in this dimension was pulled out of the 4th dimension, the imagination. A vision first, then the physical world was just the effect. If you want to reconnect to the 4th dimension, comment ebook and I'll send you a free guide on how to do so. Satan is Saturn, 666, the mark of the beast. On the North Pole of Saturn, you have the cube. Add up all the sides, you get 6.6 triangles, 6 sides, 666. We live in a soul system, not a solar system. We start in the stars and then we incarnate through Saturn. Saturn materializes our soul into the 666 carbon suit. All life forms are based on the bonding properties of carbon. 6 protons, 6 electrons, 6 neutrons, 666. The body is the beast. The Bible tells you Satan is the god of this world, and he has blinded the minds of those who do not believe. Because when our soul incarnates through these 7 celestial spheres, we forget who we are before this lifetime. The symbol for Saturn is even showing you this. All of the planet symbols are made out of the Holy Trinity, the sun, the moon, and the cross for Earth. The Saturn symbol is the Earth cross and the moon crescent. Earth is matter, moon is mind, sun is soul. The Saturn symbol is showing you Earth over moon, matter over mind, when it should be mind over matter. We incarnate into this world so we can restrict our mind, because in the dimensions of the mind and imagination, we can think and it comes into manifestation instantly. But this plane limits us. Sega Saturn is a game, the Nintendo GameCube. This is why we say think outside the box, because you are not your physical body. And this is the box they're trying to trap us in, the physical dimension. The human body is liquid crystal. There are CIA documents documents which reveal that. Radios use crystals to pick up frequencies and turn them into sound. Your body works the same way. Your pineal gland has crystalline structures that act like an antenna. Your body is a radio, tuning into the infinite stream of consciousness, the mind of God. We are all God in human form, experiencing life through the illusion of separation. God created the 3D world to experience himself instead of the oneness. You don't need to go to church to connect with God. You are God. The key is going within through breathwork, meditation, and inner awareness. Religion was made to externalize this truth, to keep you away from your own divine power. Don't make this mistake. When I woke up spiritually, I went straight into chakras, energy work, and cleansing my aura. I thought this was the key, but I was wrong. The only thing that truly matters is mastering the mind. When you train your mind, you gain control over your emotions, your body, and your energy. You don't have to force your vibration to rise or try to balance your chakras. They naturally align when the mind is in check. Don't get lost in the external. Focus on your mind. Once you master that, everything else follows. Your spirit, your body, and your soul will fall into place. Freemasons are satanic according to Christians, yet King James, who commissioned the Bible, was a Freemason. He even wrote a book on demonology, what Christians call witchcraft. So they're believing a book which was written by a Freemason. We live in a scripted reality. The Bible has been altered to match the events playing out today, making it seem like a divine prophecy when it's actually a long-term plan. Revelation, it's not unfolding naturally, it was scripted by those in power. They've been following the plan for generations. So the question is, are you following the script or seeing through the illusion? Jesus never existed. The Last Supper is astrology. Each body part is ruled by a zodiac. Aries the lamb rules the head, which is why he's on the head of the table. Taurus rules the neck. He has a very thick neck for Taurus the bull. The next sign is Gemini. Gemini is the two arms, the two twins. That's why his hands are up for the two twins. Next sign is Cancer the crab with pinchers. He's holding a knife for the pincher of Cancer. The next sign is Leo when the sun is powerful, radiant, and summer. That's why he's showing dominance with a clenched fist and an elbow on the table. The next sign is Virgo the virgin. He's pointing that there's no Adam's apple. This is a woman of Virgo the virgin. Jesus is the sun, the light of the world, the risen savior, the Son of God. He's placed in a triangle to symbolize the sun's rays. One hand up for the daytime, one hand down for the taking away of the sun at nighttime. Libra is when the sun is balanced between summer and the winter. That's why Libra is the balanced scales, and the symbol is a half rising sun. That's why he's holding his arms out balanced. Next sign is Scorpio with this man pointing upwards. Scorpio is our reproductive sexual organs. He's pointing up because you must raise your sexual energy up to Aries. That's why Aries is an anagram for arise. They're in 4 groups of 3 because there are 3 months in each season. Luke, Mark, John, and Matthew. Spring, summer, fall, winter. Jesus is the sun, which is our soul. Spring is our physical body. Summer is our spirit. Fall is our emotions. Winter. Ever wondered why graduates wear this hat? The hat is a square and a circle. The square created by the square. The circle created by the compass, which is the Freemasonic square and compass. The circle is eternal, no beginning, no end. The square creates the square, which is beginning and end. Spirit and matter, mind over matter, the compass over the square. But in this case, we have the square over the circle, which represents matter over the spirit. The graduation cap symbolizes dominance of matter over spirit, representing the conditioning imposed by Saturnic energy. Hence why it's a black cap for the black cube of Saturn. That's why judges wear a black robe, representing reinforcement and limitation. This is not a coincidence. Is university just conditioning to limit the human mind? The Egyptian gods never existed. They symbolize the different body parts of your body. Anubis represents the tongue. He's a dog with the barking because the power of life and death is in the tongue. Falcon of Horus is the inner brainstem. Osiris, the god of death and the underworld. He represents the reptilian brain, hence why he's green and has reptiles next to him. The reptilian brain is when our consciousness exists in death because we don't think. Horus with the circle on his head represents the limbic system in the brain. Amun-Ra is the hippocampus in the brain. Ra is where we get RAM. Computer has a RAM for memory, and the hippocampus in the brain is all to do with memory. This is the Lamb of God. Thoth, the god of wisdom, the one who preserves the ancient wisdom. Ibis bird is the sternum. which is the chest, which contains the treasure, which is our soul, our heart. Our heart contains the sacred knowledge. Sternum protects the heart, the treasure. He preserves the wisdom. The Ankh is the portal into the physical world, the uterus. The Bible even tells you that animals are deeply symbolic. Job 12:7. Ask the beasts of the field and they will teach you, the birds of heaven and they will tell you. Because each animal represents a part of the human experience. Snakes represent the wave of energy. The Egyptians saw each body part had a specific role in the human experience. And these parts of our body are very sacred. If you want to learn more, then read the Book of Wisdom, Volume 2. Emojis are demons. Demons are spirits. In magic, you use sigils to invoke spirits and demons. But what exactly is a spirit? A spirit is just a non-physical force or energy. Emotion is energy in motion. Motion is a spirit. Emojis are sigils which invoke specific spirits or emotions. This sigil invokes the spirit of happiness. The spirit invokes the spirit of frustration and anger. Just by looking at these emojis or sigils, they change energy in your consciousness. This is invoking energy within you. A demon is just a negative spirit, a negative emotion which possesses you, possesses your heart and your energy field, making you feel a certain way. You're an electromagnetic being with the power to invoke energy. You lot have been going crazy recently. We're nearly sold out on the Book of Wisdom. There is limited available. This cartoon shows you that you are far more than your physical body. Humanity has lost this ability to activate their spirit or the astral body, fully enslaving us in this physical plane.
Okay. Man, this is screwy. Maybe it's the can of beans we had for dinner. Looks, homey. Whoa. Oh, right.
Did you know doing this gesture is the Antichrist? Performing this produces the upside down cross. So you touch the head down to the heart, then tap both shoulders, which is cutting the connection between the head and the heart. It symbolizes cutting the connection between the mind and the soul. And the soul is pure love. You know when you hurt someone and you can feel that you've done something wrong inside your heart? That's because your soul is encoded with God's law of love. They don't want us connected with our soul intelligence, the intelligence within you that tells you the right thing to do at all times. This is why we say, follow your heart, and that Christ may dwell in your heart, because the heart is the brain for the soul, and the brain is the temple for the mind. The earth needs to connect more with their heart, because love is the unifying force that brings us all together. Did you know baptism is a scam? To trick you and to make you believe that you're going to be saved. And the true baptism happens within you. We have 4 stages of human consciousness. Earth, stage 1. This is when we're in a survival state of consciousness. Water, stage 2. The truth in cleansing. Dunking your head in water is symbolic for cleansing yourself from the survival animalistic state. And once we've cleansed ourselves, we have the fire stage, the awakening, the spiritual awakening. Then once we awaken, we go to the air, stage 4 of self-mastery. Dunking your head in water will not save you from anything. You must save yourself from the lower mind, from the animalistic state of consciousness. Flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of God, Corinthians 15:50. It means your body cannot enter the kingdom of God. Your emotions, spirit, and mind can, which means heaven and hell is a mind state, not a real place. Theologians 4:17, you meet the Lord in the air. You meet the Lord in the highest stage of consciousness, the mind, the air, the self-mastery. No man in the sky going to save you. Religion want you to believe this so you give away your power. They don't want you mastering yourself. They want you weak. Find the Book of Wisdom, Volume 2 in my bio. You need to understand the simulation. Everything you feel is not real, and everything you see is an illusion. Everything you're experiencing is a simulation produced by your nervous system. This laptop is not solid, it's just a bunch of atoms placed together. And the reason my finger doesn't go through the laptop is the electrical fields of the atoms in the laptop are repelling the electrical fields in my finger. What you feel when touching something is your nervous system decoding the electrical waves that you've come into contact with. You're not feeling the external world. You're feeling electrical impulses decoded by your brain. They'll never tell you this, but your brain is an energy decelerator. Everything outside of you is energy. What you see is your brain slowing down this energy outside of you into a visual image that you can perceive. Everything outside of you is fake. The only thing that is real is your consciousness. Material world trick, matrix. Hindus call this Maya, the illusion of the world. Kabbalists call the world the veil that hides your soul. And the reason why the world's so lost and depressed today is because we're looking for ourselves in the outer world. None of the short-term pleasures that the material world offers can ever satisfy your soul. True happiness comes from within. Stop seeking validation in your outer reality. Go within yourself and find happiness within. The solution to the world is meditation. The sun is electric, the moon is magnetic, male and female, fire and water. The sun gives you energy, it's a positive charge. The moon is negatively charged, taking away your energy. Yin and yang. The earth is darkness, it produces no light of its own. All of the light comes from above, from the etheric and astral plane. The earth is matter, above is spirit. The sun is floating because it's in the etheric plane. As above, so below. All the life comes from above. That's why all religions stem back to the worshipping of the stars. Because the material plane is only alive because of the etheric life force. That's why Jesus is the risen savior. He is the sun with the 12 disciples, 12 zodiac signs. And the sun raises every day and saves you. Jesus was not a real person, but an astrological code. This is why the church tells you not to do yoga. The nervous system stores emotional trauma. For example, you're in a car crash. Just before you crash, your body starts to tense up in the anticipation for the impact. The nervous system stores this tension, and your nervous system has stored every tensation you've ever had. Over time, all of these tensions can manifest into a physical problem such as back pain, joint aches, and even disease. Yoga is highly effective from releasing stored trauma from the nervous system before it can manifest into any problems. You know that amazing feeling you get after stretching? That's all of your trauma and negative energy being released from your nerves. Yoga does not open demonic doors into your consciousness. It's just another fear that the church installs to you, so you stop increasing your consciousness. Human is hue-man. Hue is an attribute of a color. Color is light. Hue is light, man is manifested. We are light manifested in physical form. We are holographic electromagnetic beings. Heart rearranged is earth. The heart chakra is green and the earth is green. And the sky is blue and the throat chakra is blue. You're not a body inside of a universe. You are the universe experiencing itself, a microcosm form. Nothing is separate from you. You are all things. Religion has just externalized these teachings. Physical is Phi cycle. The Phi symbol is the Taurus field. We live in a cycle of an electromagnetic field. Birth, growth, decay, and death. Spring, summer, fall, winter. Morning, afternoon, evening, night. Everything comes out of the ether and returns back to the ether. That's why death has ether within it, because your soul came through the ether and then you will return back through the ether. Back to your astral light body. Your soul goes back to the ether every night when you go to sleep. That's why sleep is the cousin of death, because sleep is just a microcosm of this macrocosm cycle. Day and night, summer, winter, everything is just a cycle of the atom and how energy works. That's why blood leaves the heart and returns back to the heart. Just like how the heart's energy field leaves the heart and goes back to the heart. Because the heart is an infinite energy source. Heart rearranged is ether. Your heart speaks the language of the universe, energy. You never actually die, your soul lives forever. However, we need to detach from every addiction we have before we die. Why is it the ancients always wore silver? This is gonna blow your mind. Your brain and your body is a bioelectric system. Your body is basically a technological machine which serves as an interface that allows consciousness to interact with the 3D world. Your body's flow of ions and electrons helps to ensure that your body's bioelectric machinery operates harmoniously and supports vital functions. Which is why the ancients wore silver and precious metals, because they enhance the flow of ions and electrons, which can enhance the flow of electricity within your body, making your brain to process information quicker. You are an electromagnetic machine. The human body is a battery. This is why we have to charge ourselves constantly with energy. Silver is said to be one of the best energy conductors. Silver has the ability to minimize electrical resistance, which improves cellular communication and energy flow. This is the original reason why humans used to wear jewelry. Not to enhance our looks, but to enhance the functions of our electrical bodies. If you have neck, wrist, or ankle pain, you would wear a specific metal around this area. Did you know the only difference between water and ice is a state of vibration? Now think of your desired reality. Only difference between your desired reality and your current circumstances is a state of consciousness. You can become the reality you want before you physically have it. If you observe closely, it's not actually the job that you hate. It's the emotion, the thoughts, and the state of consciousness that job makes you feel. Therefore, it's not the job that you want to change, it's the state of consciousness. By using our thoughts, emotion, and imagination, we can become the reality in a state of consciousness before physically having it, and watch your outer world rearrange itself to match your new state. Think about this. Your life is a direct correlation of every thought you thought in the past, which means your world is an externalization, a materialization of your thoughts and mind. Most people live in a cycle of the external world manipulating their inner world, not realizing their inner world is projecting the outer, which produces a cycle of constant negative manifestation. But when we stop, when we change our inner world and we act, think, feel as if we are already living from the wish fulfilled, that's how we produce effect in the material world.
Did you know your heart is not actually a pump? The heart is in the shape of a chestahedron, a seven-sided shape where all of the surface areas are the same. Placing a chestahedron in water creates a vortex in the water, and your heart tissues is in a vortex spiral. Your heart is actually one muscle but wrapped in a spiraling vortex form. This is because your heart is a vortex energy generator. Blood enters the heart and creates a vortex spiral inside of the heart. Your heart turns water in the blood into plasma, the fourth state of water, which they'll never tell you about. Plasma makes up approximately 55% of your blood. The earth is electromagnetic. The reason why heart rearranged as earth is because the heart takes the electromagnetic energy of the earth and turns this into plasma in the blood to run the physical body. Your heart is directly connected to the universe, to the electromagnetic energy of the earth. This is why we always see Jesus pointing at his heart. Your heart is inside of the chest. This is where the treasure is, inside of the heart. Your heart contains 40,000 neurons, which is the exact same cells in your brain. The heart is the emotional brain, which gives you guidance. It tells you what is right and what is wrong. This is why we say follow your heart.
Ever wondered why your middle finger's considered swearing? There's a hidden element that they've hid from you called ether. 5 points on the body, 5 elements. 5 fingers, 5 elements. They demonized your middle finger because it's ether. But what exactly is the ether? Ether is like the blueprint to all physical creation. They covered up the ether by calling it dark matter. It's where all energy comes from and returns back to. Think of it as an eternal water of life feeding everything with energy. Yes, the ether can provide free 0-point energy, but that is not the biggest secret. The biggest secret about the ether is that our minds can manifest whatever we project into it into a reality. This is what the Matrix is showing you with these codes. You can change the codes to reality by changing your inner consciousness. The ether acts as a barrier from the imagination plane, astral, into the physical plane. Just look at the words that we use. Together, ether. There's so much more that goes into this. Make sure to follow me. Today is a full moon, and this is why I don't eat or scroll on my phone on this day. The sun is our conscious mind. The moon is our subconscious mind. Just like the moon phases have these cycles, so does our consciousness. We go through mood swings and different emotions and thoughts all the time. If you didn't already know, your subconscious mind controls 90% of your daily basis thoughts and actions. The new moon is when your subconscious mind is mainly closed. However, a full moon is when the subconscious mind is more accessible during this phase. This is the best time to reprogram your subconscious and break your old habits. I don't do anything that is highly addictive on this specific day. Instead, I use my conscious mind to think, feel, and imagine my specific reality that I want on this day. And this will impress this reality on my subconscious. And my subconscious will start to believe I've already got the reality, which will then create effect in my external reality. This is why you always see witches with a full moon behind their head, because this is the best time to do a ritual of implanting new seeds into your consciousness so they can grow into a beautiful reality. And this is also the reason why you always get good ideas at nighttime, because the daytime is survival mode, it's conscious. The nighttime's our subconscious, imagination. I found some secret codes in the Bible. The Bible contains numerology, and in Revelation 14, it states 144,000 will go to heaven. 144 adds up to 9. The 9th letter in the English alphabet is I. God's name Yahweh means I am. This is our body. I is our consciousness. 9 is the number of consciousness. Let's take it deeper. A lamb standing on Mount Zion. The lamb represents Aries. Aries rules the head, and this is the lamb horns in our brain. Holy Mount Zion is our spine. The lamb is on top of Mount Zion with the 144,000, which is 9, which is consciousness. And they had the Father's name written on their forehead. Our forehead is where our consciousness is. 144,000 who had been redeemed from the earth represent the ones who found their consciousness. 144,000 sang a new song. New song is a new state of awakened consciousness. Sing a new song. Awaken to your consciousness, not your body. Heaven is a state of consciousness. This book will literally tell you everything. Dreams carry secret messages, and you can take advantage of them. You have two minds, a conscious and a subconscious. When we sleep, we move from the conscious into the subconscious, moving from the physical into the astral. The astral plane is the imagination, a screen we have in our mind, and our subconscious stores every belief and memory. The people in your dream are not real people. Dreams are materializations of your subconscious mind. Every person you meet and every place you go are a materialization of your beliefs and memories. So if you have a nightmare, this is just a materialization of your negative thoughts and worries. For example, if a Christian has a dream and he sees Jesus in his dream, this was not Jesus. It was his subconscious belief materializing in the astral plane. Write down your dreams every time you have one, and you can start to see what your subconscious is trying to show you, and you can take advantage of this. But whatever you do, never look into a mirror in a dream. Adam and Eve is a sexual story. When we are born, we have a pure consciousness, and we have no ability to reproduce life. As we grow older, we gain the power of creation. Our sexual energy is activated and turning us into an adult. We gain the ability to produce life, and this sacred power can be misused as it is a sacred force within you. Eve is feminine, she's the emotion. Adam is masculine, he's the action. The serpent is the deceiving sexual urge. This is a symbolic story of how we lose pure consciousness and we gain the consciousness of good and evil. Our consciousness splits into the ego and the shadow, into the higher and the lower self. But this is not bad. It's a natural cycle of human consciousness. But we need to wake up from it and find our way back to the Garden of Eden. Don't lose yourself in material lust and material pleasures. They'll leave you feeling empty and unsatisfied. Instead, save your sexual energy, master your mind and control your emotions. And don't let external things control your inner world. And that's how we find our way back to the Garden of Eden, reaching a pure state of consciousness, meanwhile knowing the knowledge of good and evil. The Bible is the greatest psychological text ever written. The number one mistake people make is that they take people's hate personally. You must understand that people's hateful comments are just reflections of their negative state of mind, their negative state of consciousness. I'm hated by millions of people, and if I took it personally, I wouldn't be here today. Please don't let other external things manipulate your internal world. If you can change your inner world to feel a certain thing, you can produce effect on your outer world. So don't let no one change your inner world. Have an amazing day. There's a secret meaning behind 666. 666 is 3 sixes. 3 represents the 3 aspects of creation and consciousness. Thoughts, emotions, and actions. These 3 things have created your life. This is where it gets scary. The number 6 represents the cube. And this material world is created in cubes. Forwards, down, up, backwards, left, and right. 6 represents the material world. 666 represents your thought, emotions, and actions all going towards your material body and material pleasure. Cutting yourself off from spirituality. Red is the slowest vibrational frequency, and it represents chaotic and intense emotions like hate and anger. You are the devil. It's not a real person, it's the lower aspects of the human mind. The voice we hear in our head that tells us to do bad things is not the devil, it's an aspect of your mind. He has a goat head. Goats are ground animals, they represent the lower self. Angels have wings which represent the higher self. Religions were made to hide the truth about yourself. Jesus never turned water into wine. This is gonna blow your mind. Jesus spoke all things to the crowd in parables. Matthew 13:34. It's a symbolic and allegorical story about you turning water into wine. Fire is masculine. Water is feminine. Masculine is intellect. Feminine is emotion. Water is symbolic for emotion. Thoughts are the language of the mind. Emotion is the language of the soul. Emotions are communication from your soul. If you are jealous of someone, this is your soul telling you where you need to be in life. Every fear you have is showing you an obstacle for you to grow, to expand into your life purpose. Water into wine is symbolic in turning negative emotions into growth and expansion, transmuting hate into love, jealousy into your reality. Jesus represents you, a manifestation of God's consciousness in physical form. Jesus tells you, whatever I can do, you can do better in John 14:12. Jesus is you. Baptism is symbolic of moving from earth into water, the second stage of consciousness, truth. Dunking your head in water won't do anything. Baptism happens within. We are not in 2025. Month comes from the word moon, moonth. The moon has a 28-day moon cycle. 365 divided by 28 is 13. 13 lunar cycles every year, which means our calendar has a missing month, which means we don't know what year we're actually in. This is gonna blow your mind. The sky is a clock. The sun tells the time of the day. The moon tells the day of the month. The stars tell you the month of the year. The sky above our head is intelligent. Everything on earth is matter. Everything above us is spirit. That's why they're floating. They're not rocks you can land on. The Gregorian calendar was made for slaves. Calendar comes from calends, the first day of the month the Romans had to pay off their debt. So what does all of this actually mean, and why did they do it? They made this fake calendar to cut off our connection with our celestial intelligence above and keep our mind, body and spirit out of rhythm with these cycles. We must live in harmony with the cycles above us. You can create abundance in your life with using the moon to your advantage. All of my students know that. 3 meals a day is keeping you stuck in your lower 3 energy centers, trapping your body in survival mode. It's important that we fast. When we fast, our body starts to eat itself and kill all the bad cells. If you have issues with your body, listen up. If you cut your finger, your body heals it and produces a scab. If we keep picking the scab, it will never heal. Your body's issue is not healing because it's fighting off the toxins that you place in it every single day. Instead of fighting the problem with your body, it's fighting off the poison you keep placing in it. If you avoid unnatural food, the body will then start to fight off the problem that's already in it. This is why fasting is important. Our digestion uses a lot of energy. Fasting allows the energy used for digestion to be redirected to fight off the problem. The human body is made with self-regenerating technology. If you want to heal fast, cut out all the unnatural GMO foods and go on an alkaline diet. P.S. This is not health advice, this is what I do personally.